this man responded with ignorance, just pure hatred, and his unbridled anger attempted to cover up his weak research skills. But we saw straight through it. I mean, who uses Wikipedia and Ancestry.com as empirical evidence to spread hate?
This guy does.
I got my ancestry results. It was said that I have indigenous descent of the Caribbean and indigenous descent of the Yucatan Peninsula. So even before Columbus' arrival, Taino had multiple lineages back then as well. For anybody to have indigenous Caribbean descent, that would still make you either Taino, Carib, or Locono. I can only talk about this so much.
But when I questioned the idea of Haitians having any Taino ancestry and used ancestry DNA as evidence, both of you would dismiss it as not being reputable or credible. And this is what he had to say.
To show me proof that Haitians have Taino blood. Because according to the data at Ancestry.com, only Dominican.
If you knew anything about indigenous culture, is that we do not praise blood quantum. That is a colonizer ideology. But aside from that...
Wait, so you don't praise blood quantum, but you were just praising your blood quantum in the previous video?
When I got my ancestry results, it was said that I have indigenous descent of the Caribbean and indigenous descent of the Yucatan Peninsula. So even before Columbus' arrival, Taino had multiple lineages back then as well.
Not only that, but your Puerto Rican and Latino followers are also praising their blood quantum in the comment section as well. So when you want to prove that Tainos are not extinct, you use Ancestry DNA as empirical evidence to show your Taino percentages. But when I stated that Haitians have no Taino ancestry and that Dominicans are the only ones on the island with Taino blood, you stated that Ancestry DNA is the colonizer's ideology.
Anything about indigenous culture is that we do not praise blood quantum. That is a colonizer ideology.
If anyone can see your hypocrisy from a mile away, then they deserve to be manipulated by unscrupulous people like you and Bertrude. When something isn't beneficial to your narrative, you dismiss it. But when you can use it to prove a certain point, you use it as evidence. Even one of your followers realized what you were doing. When one of your followers told you that Haitians were not Taino, you failed to refute their claims and Googled the words ID Taino. What do you think you were proving by doing that? If your followers can't see how both of you are just liars who are deceiving them, then I don't know what to tell them. Continue to be sheep to these race hustlers and their identity politics. What's even more alarming is what Bertrude said to a TikToker who made the assertions of Dominicans being on the islands before Haitians. Take a look.
There's something called a treaty. This is a formal, legally binding agreement between nations. And in 1697, through the Treaty of Ryswick, Spain formally ceded the western third of the island to France. And so it doesn't matter who came first. From that point on, that stolen piece of land legally belonged to France. And so Spain and the descendants of the Spanish had no legal claim over the West. What makes your argument ironic is that in 1795, there was yet another treaty, the Treaty of Basel, and this is important. Through this agreement, Spain formally gave up their part of the island, the East, and the entire island became the French colony of Saint-Domingue.
You bringing up the Treaty of Ryswick and the Treaty of Basel is very telling because it proves that Haitians fought for stolen land that never belonged to them. If Haiti's battle was really against white supremacy and colonizers, why are you here agreeing to and justifying the Treaty of Basel and the Treaty of Ryswick? And using them as a source to prove your ownership of the island when both those treaties were a redistribution of stolen land between colonizers. I know why. Because Haitians are colonizers too.
However, Boyette ends up doing some really, we got to be real with our history, some really messed up things. Some messed up things such as he redistributes land. He highly taxes the Dominicans. He forces Dominicans not to speak Spanish, but rather speak French. He gets rid of religious festivities, gets rid of cultural pillars like cockfighting. So they felt like there was an attack on their culture. And because of that, Dominicans start to uprise and they say, we need independence from Haiti.
You are a guest on the island of Quisqueya.